I hope you can see my screen. So, yeah, thanks. Thanks, Chandan. Yeah, so welcome to week 12. So, I have split this into week 12A and 12B since I'll be taking two sessions. So, it is class 12A. So, session 12A. So, welcome to session 12A of problem solving through programming in C. I'm Aditya. So, quick recap of week 12. So, we learned more about structures and we learnt a way of how to define a structure with, where you don't have to keep using the word struct when you define a new variable in under that structure type. So that was using type def. Okay. Then we saw pointers with in more detail. So basics of pointers were covered when we were passing arrays through functions. So when we wrote functions for sorting, finding the largest element in an array, etc., etc. So we basic use for pointers was covered there, but in this week it was taken up in more detail, in a more detailed way. And yeah, pointers and arrays and structures. So can someone answer in the chat if structures are passed by value or passed by reference? I mean structures and structure elements. You can just write in the chat. I'll be able to see by reference, by value. So from what I know, structures are passed by value, not by reference. Arrays are passed by reference. So yeah, if my structure variable is an array, then that will be passed by reference. But if it is just struct type, if it is not an array itself, then it will be passed by value. Okay, so most of it through array. Yeah, if my structure variable, let's say my structure is student and I have name, roll number, highest marks, etc., etc. So if I have a structure variable class which has like some 10 students, then that will be so. If I have multiple records in that variable, like you said, multiple records, that will be passed as value. But if it is not a class, if it is just one variable, then it will be passed by value. Okay, else by reference. So both are in a way correct. And then we also saw about we also saw dynamic memory allocation. So it's a way where we optimize the memory used by the compiler in the computer and file handling. So in this week's thing, we'll not be taking up dynamic memory allocation and file handling. I'll take some good problems on that. So there are a few very nice problems on these that I'll take on. We'll discuss those on Tuesday. So today's thing will be more about pointers and structures. Okay, so time to solve problems. Yeah, so I don't know who, I think Shreya was there in the last class. So I wrote a program where I had to reverse a string using a function, but the catch was I had to use recursion. So in that I use this thing called static. So static int, static char and all. So without static it was not running, and last time I didn't explain well on why I use static. So I used static variables to preserve the value of count. So I used static int I, static char something reverse where I was storing the reverse of the string, right? So static int. So through multiple calls of recursion, if I don't keep it static, then it will come back. The I will be reinitialized to 0 or 1 at each recursive call, and when I am storing the reverse string, only the last element, or I mean, sorry, it will all get, I mean, it gets stored letter by letter from last to first, but since the position is being reinitialized at the so instead of getting stored one after the other, it will just replace, and they all will try to get stored in the first position or the 0th position. So I'll get so it will only return the first letter which is being stored the last. Okay, so first the last letter will be at the first position, 0th position, then that will be replaced by the second last, then that will be replaced by the third last. That is not what we want. We want it to get stored one after the other. That is why we need that static, so that their value is preserved and we don't have reinitialization of these variables. Okay, so if needed, we'll go back to it again. For now, I feel this explanation is fine. Example. So okay, so we'll do this at the end, because I did this in the last class. So first I'll cover what I have for today's class, and time will be left mostly. So we'll do that, reversing a string with recursion. Okay, and using recursion in functions is a very good practice. So the more you practice that, the better your command over that will be. So Chandan will do that at the end. Okay, so first is files. Yeah, this files just basic. I'll not go in depth. So one of you can just a minute. Yeah, so one of you can unmute yourselves and just say yes or no when I write the option. So who wants to volunteer for this? Just this first question only. No. You have to unmute yourself and say yes or no. Okay. Or you can also write in the chat yes or no. So someone left the meeting. Okay. Anyway, so just write in the chat, one of you, yes or no. So which function can be used to write a string to a file? Can I use fprintf? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Can I use fputs? Lastly, can I use fwrite? Fwrite, I mean, obviously you can use. So yeah, all three I can use: fprintf, fputs, and fwrite. So puts is specifically for the string. Fwrite you can write whatever you want with fwrite, and fprintf also, it is I think slightly more specific. So let's go for structures. What is the output of the following? So I have this this lengthy code. Okay, so it has pointers and structures both. So yeah, just look at this and tell me the output. Okay, so I'll give you 3 minutes. So time is up. I have gotten one answer that is true. So let's just quickly check if it is true or not. So the code is here. I'll just run. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Oh God. Yeah, P1 I didn't initialize it as an array, my bad. I can't even copy it from there because it will copy some special characters and then sorry for the delay. Struct P1. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. So it prints false. Wait, did I write the code correctly? Yeah, I wrote the code correctly. So let's see what x is. Okay, the printf percentage d size of no wait x. So it, yeah, I'm explaining. So it seems like it should be true, but as you can see what happened in the code. So if I have 3 elements, so size of a structure thing will be the so first I have number of elements in the array here, that is 3. So I'll take the biggest value of the structure. So size of int is 4, size of char is 1. So size of any structure variable p which is not an array will be 4 and not so that will be 4. So if it is an array of 3 elements, size will be 4 into 3, 12. Okay, so and x will be 4 into 3, 12, right? So 12 by 4, 3. X is 4. So again 4. So for some reason it's not taking it to be even. Yeah, there is something that has to do with it being odd or even. So when I do 2, it is 2, and when I say 1, it's still 2. So yeah, you're right. And I think more than structure padding, it is array padding, because so it's only taking even number of entries, right, and not odd number of entries. So if I do this, this is true, and if I remove this, it's true again. So let's just do one thing. We'll try it in a different compiler, but I don't think it is a compiler issue, but let's still try. So this is 1 2 3 4 5. It is 1 2 3 4 5, right? So this is still 6. This is 6, and if I do 3 elements, that should be 4. Yeah, okay, got it. So one thing that it is one thing it is there that it is because of just a minute. So in arrays, it tries to mostly screen freeze. Okay, so screen did not freeze. I have to share the different screen. Yeah. Okay. I think now it is better. I tried a different compiler, but it is the same issue. So I removed the by 4 here. Okay. I removed the by 4 here, but it doesn't really make a difference. So if I have 4, it should be 16, and if I have 3, it should still be 16. So it in arrays in general, so if I change it to char array, I can't change it to char array. So we'll try one more example here. I'll just 1 minute. Yeah, this is better. I mean, I like this compiler more. So if I define something, let's say int an array x, okay, a, and it will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 56, whatever. So printf long unsigned int. So So now it has 5 elements and it is giving 20, which is the correct answer. So with structures, that is not the case because of something mentioned here, structure padding. Structure padding relates to how structures are stored in the memory. So padding as in one extra space. So not one extra space, one extra what is it called? Not a whole space. I mean, yeah, it is related to memory management. So how it is stored? We usually when it is odd. So usually when the size of the array is odd, to account for I forgot the exact term. It's not to optimize the memory. It's not to optimize the. If I were to optimize it, then I would not add one extra, right? Here I'm adding something extra, one extra free space. Free space as in not 1 byte. Number of bytes needed to store that structure. So it is to it is like compensating. It is like compensating, but the exact additional memory reduces memory size. It is taking up more bytes than normal. That is what I'm saying. That is so I'm not clear with the terms now. I'll just explain that in a while. So just for now just I'll explain it in like a while. But for now, just keep in mind that when I have arrays and all, so if I change it to char, this thing. So char size is 1, so this should be 5, and I so it is 5, and if I change it to float, yeah, float and int both are 4 bytes. So in one of the previous week's lectures, I don't remember which week, maybe week 4 or 5, I'm not sure. There int was mistakenly mentioned as 2 bytes, so it is 4 bytes. Float is also 4 bytes. Okay. I'll come back with like why this happens, so please be patient. For now, just keep in mind that whenever I define a structure array, or I'll do one more thing, I'll change this to float, but it will not make any difference because it is still padding it. So yeah. So just keep in mind, if the size is odd, then just add one extra and then multiply it by the number of or I'll remove this and then see. Okay. So I can't do like by 4 because 5 by 4, 6 by 4 are all 1 because it is int. So I have to change this to float, and I have to change this to 4.0. Oh god, it threw some memory at me. So instead of doing it by 4, I'll just keep it int. So this is 6 and this is 5. Okay, so that was because I had two elements inside the structure. Now it's I'll just come back to it. Okay, so sorry for the confusion. Uh, so sorry about that, but yeah, unfortunately the answer was false. So yeah, what is the output of the following? I have this character array with 8 characters A through F, A through H, and I have defined a pointer that points to A, so you know where it is actually pointing. And then I have this do while loop. So what will it return? Okay. So please try to answer this. Yeah, so I know the answer, but I'll just still write it to check it once. So I think the only difference between the two answers is while and do while. Okay, so you'll understand what I mean. And here post increment, pre increment doesn't really matter because I mean here it matters, of course. So it is in fact, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is BCD and not BCDE. But if you want BCDE, what will you do? I'll just change this to plus plus P. Okay, that will not give me BCDE, that will mostly give me CDE. Yeah. So yeah, P plus plus. So since it is post, yeah, got it. Okay, so since it is post increment, I first print B, then I print C, then I print D, right? I have printed D here, but once I have done that, loop has not ended and it has gone to E. Then it checks if it is E equal to E or not. It says it's not equal to E, so then it will just exit, come out. But if I had plus plus E here, E will get printed, then it will come out. So I'll just change this to, wait, I will yeah, show you what happens if I use while instead of do while. Do statements in general, they are not used a lot, but as far as I know, I should get the same result with while or do while here when I have P plus plus and not plus plus P. Oh god, yeah. So I'll run. It is BCD. Okay, so if I change it to plus plus P, it should mostly be CD, but CDE. Oh yeah, right. It is printing, then it is changing, right? It is printing E, then it is checking if it is working or not. So in this case, yeah. So in this case, both there is no difference between do while and while. Okay. I hope this is clear. So let's move on to the next one. Yeah, pointers done. Structures and pointers. I have another piece of code for you. So what will be the output of the following? It's actually very easy. Yeah, here just imagine this thing is inside main and there is hash include std io.h return 0, all those things are there. Just imagine that is there, and now you have to answer this. Okay, this is quite easy, so I'll be giving only 2 minutes, and after 1 minute I'll open the chat and you guys can answer there. I hope the, yeah, so two answers say 2, and the answer is in fact 2, because this thing does the same job as .5. I mean, yeah. So if I change, since this is a pointer to P1, I have to point it to the second structural element. I have to use arrow key. If I don't want to use pointers, I'll just write P1 dot y. That's all. So this was quite basic. So yeah, since x and y are 0, second element. Yeah, correct. Okay, good. So I will hopefully I have something more challenging next. Okay, this is also not challenging, but the next one is there is some real stuff to it. So just wait for it. I have okay. So yeah. So I have these two things. You have 3 minutes. After 2 minutes, chat will be open. So just be ready. So changing Z2 didn't affect Z1 because only the value has been copied. Okay, so yeah, so when I print Z1.k it is still 12, and Z2.k when I print again it's a new value which is 144, 12 square. Okay, yeah. Now you will have to write a program, right? Yeah. Okay. So so I hope you know how multiplication of two complex numbers works. So, but I'll still show it once here. So I have yeah, there is one more task. I have to copy it from another presentation. So I have two complex numbers. Let's say. So one thing, I mean, most of you might know, but I'll still write that if I have two complex numbers, let's say ax plus bi and a plus bi and x plus yi, right? A plus bi and x plus yi. So one thing you need to know that I into I is -1. Okay, so I square is not complex, I square is real, and I into I is -1. So what will be the product of these two be? So so product is, so first let's see the real part. So x and a are real, so ax, right? So if I multiply it like this, so I'll first take a outside and I'll do x plus yi plus bi x plus yi, right? I'll get ax plus ayi plus bxi, I mean bix, bxi, whatever, plus b into y into I square, right? by and I square is -1, right? So -1. So basically real part is ax minus bi by, and imaginary part is ay plus bx. Okay, so I'll give you 15 minutes to do this, and yeah, so there are two parts to it. One is without using pointers and one is with using pointers. So this is for your basic practice. That is why without using pointers and with using pointers. Just I think 15 minutes should be enough. Just do that and then join. Then we'll discuss. Around 3 minutes are left, but for those of who are here, I wish Chandan Singh was here, but anyway, I so the bug was in that thing, in that structure padding and all. Structure padding is basically when you want to align the things. So like he said, it takes more memory to optimize the program, right? So if I have something like this, so I'll write it here itself. So yeah, so I want to print an integer like this. So it is taking 4 bytes, right? I'll just write it 1 2 3 4 to show it is 4 bytes, and I have this thing, one character C. This is my structure. Okay, so so from here it has to go back to this position, right? So but for a more optimized way of reading, it would be better if C was aligned right under 4. So padding here is it adds 3 extra spaces, because yeah, here it looks like, to make sure that C is right under 4, so that this thing is optimized. And the glitch there was, it was not because of structure padding, it was because of compiler. The compiler was misbehaving. I tried, I'll upload this thing on YouTube and you can see what I did. I didn't do anything, I just ran it again. I gave 7 and 8 elements, and it gave 28 and 32 instead of 32 and 32, and then when I came back to 5 4 3 and all, it gives appropriate answers. I mean, for 5 it is 20 and not 24, and for 3 it is 12 and not 16. So I'll just show you this code again. I didn't make any changes. Okay, so no, this is not it. This is it. Yeah. See, now it has four elements. Size of p by 4. Okay, so I do this. It's 4. I didn't change anything. Okay, you can. I mean, once this goes on YouTube, you can check what I'm doing. So I change this to 4, 5. I run it again. It's true now. Okay, last time it said 6 and it was false for some reason. I mean, that was just a compiler glitch. I'll do it with 3. So last time with 3 it gave 4 instead of 3. So it's 3 now. So it was compiler glitch and not because of structure padding. See, structure padding, once more if I have to explain, it is like I said, it added 3 extra spaces in front of the char. So you might think instead of the size being 4, the size should be 8. So without padding, the size of the structure will be 5, 4 plus 1, because I have one int and one char. So without that, the size will be 5. Sorry. And with padding, size will be 4 plus 4, 8, and I'll divide it by the number of structural elements, that is 2. So 8 by 2 is 4. So if I have like some 5 integer values and 2 character values, so my size will still be 4. So 5 integer values, 2 character values, total size is how much? 20, 20 plus 2, 22, right? So with padding it is 28, and since I am padding, I'll divide it by the number of elements, that is 7. So 28 by 4 is 28 by 7 is 4. Okay, so that's about it. So if Chandan joins, I'll just give a 1 minute explanation if he joins, else we'll just continue with this thing. So if you can raise your hands, who all has done this thing. Oh God. Just raise your hands, in that hand raising symbol is there. If you are able to write and run the code for this. It's like anyway I will do it for you guys now. So I believe the screen is visible. So here, as usual, what I'll do is I'll use type def, because why not? So I want to call my structure complex. Okay, so with this thing, with type def in place, to define a thing, I don't have to write struct complex A, struct complex B. I can just write complex A, complex B, and this will be very helpful when I call them in, when I define them in functions, call them in functions, etc., etc. Okay, so this will be helpful then. So yeah, I will just so int sorry, not int, of course, complex so the function I want to call comp mult, complex multiplication, complex A, complex B, complex C. C is the product. Okay, this I am predefining the function using function prototype. My function is called comp mult. So here I will complex x comma y comma prod. Okay. Neatness purpose, I'll just do this. So I'll ask the user, enter the real and imaginary. Same thing I'll do again. Okay, so right. So now I'll call the functions of prod is equal to it was called comp mult and here while calling I don't have to mention the data type, but while defining the function I have to mention the data type. So here I can just write x comma y, and yeah, I don't have to write this here. Yeah, when I write the same thing with pointers I'll need a third variable here, but now I don't need, so I need only two here, this thing and printf. Yeah, I can also write a function to print the complex number. Okay, so I'll write a function to do that as well. So I will mention that here, void print complex A. This is done. Now I have to define the functions. So first complex comp mult here I have to so this thing dot re will be nothing but a dot re plus into b dot re minus a dot im into b dot im, right, and product dot im equals a dot re into b dot im plus a dot im into b dot re. Okay, simple. Return product. And now I need one to print, so void, since I'll not be returning anything in print comp, that's why I have defined it as void. So but input is still comp. I think I have taken a, right? Yeah. Okay. Printf. For safer side I will use brackets because you never know. Printf, the yeah, this will not work. Because this print should be to print any complex number in general. So if in this function I write something like the product is, then that will not help me, right? So that is why I should go for something like printf the product of this is a very roundabout way of doing this, but a dot re a dot im. So let us see if it works or if there are any syntactical errors. Okay, so first number is according to this thing was 2 and 3, so 2 and 3. Second one 4 and minus 2. Forgot to write the I here, and 14 and 8 plus 8, is it 8? 2 into 4, sorry, 2 into 2 is 4, oh god, it's 8, my bad, it's 8. Yeah, so one small change I've made here is I've added that I, right? I'll run it again, and instead of, I'll stop it, and I will remove this backslash n, because automatically one backslash n will be there. Right, so 2 and 3, yeah, see, 4 and minus 2, 2 and 3, 4 and minus 2, hit enter. The product of is 14 plus 8i. So to make it more neat, I can also do this. I can add brackets to this, right? But it's all up to me. So I hope this was clear. And Chandan has still not joined, I think. Okay, but it's fine. So yeah, now I'll make a small change to this so that I do the same thing using pointers. Okay, so one thing about pointers is if I want to point to a specific type of variable, then the pointer should be defined as the same type. So if I want my pointer to point at an integer, then while I am defining the pointer, I should define it as an int. Okay. So yeah. So now I will change it to, just note down the timestamp because okay. So this is without pointers. Now I'll do with pointers. So I'll change this to void and if this is void, I can also have to add one. Yeah, so all this will be pointer, right? Just give me a minute. Yeah, here I don't have to mention that it is a pointer, but I have to still uh, yeah, these variables I still need to mention. So sorry, so let star x, not x, star p, star q, and star r. So I think it will be better if I do this. Yeah, so this is not complex, this is void, and even while defining, I will define this star, star, and star, and main thing I'll have to change here is here. So one thing I have to change here, all of this. So I don't need this extra variable here. Basically, I just have to change this to C, and I have to put this arrow, and even this Yeah, I'll copy the arrow because and here instead of passing this thing, I'll have to pass the address. XY and prod, and I don't have to call this, of course, because I mean it's not returning anything, so I can't assign any value to it. So now I can just see if it runs. If not, I'll have to make some changes. Yeah, there is an error. Why is there an error? B is a pointer. Did you mean to use this? Oh god, I didn't change it here. So let me try this. 2 and 3, 4 and -2, and it works. Okay, so this was the same thing using pointers. Nothing much I have to change here. I have to so since pointers is, I mean, it means to point towards the address, so it is call by reference. So call by functions can be void, because whatever changes I make to the variables, to the called variables, I am making that change to that address directly. So since it is called by reference, so the changes will get reflected in main or wherever I am calling the function. So it's not necessarily main. I can call a function. I mean, I can call one function inside another function. So the scope of the variable will be, since it's not just the value, it's the address, so it will be maintained throughout. So that is why yeah. So so here instead of so that is why I changed it to void, and I didn't assign any value here, and I also removed the return command, and of course you can see that how it works. Okay, I was planning on explaining that static part, but I mean, if you want, I'll go ahead with it, or we can conclude the class for today. Okay, so next session will be, I'll cover one very interesting problem in dynamic programming, and there are two actually. So one I'll cover and one will be your homework. That is for, in general, your practice. It may or may not help in your final exam, but if you want to be programmers and use coding language for all this, so that will be like very helpful, I believe. And I'll take up the static part as well, so where we use static variables, why we do that. I briefly I did mention it today, so alright then, thank you. You guys can log out.